person, and his parents are horrible people. I was rooting for them to get exploded. Hello and welcome to the Afterspark podcast, an episode-by-episode recap of the Generation 1 Transformers cartoon. I'm Els.
And I'm Specs.
And today we're going to be talking about episode number 21, Traitor. Let's talk about giant robots today, shall we?
Mm-hmm. Prepare yourselves. It's time for Cliffjumper to be a huge jackass.
I'm shocked. Shocked, I tell you, shocked.
It's Cliffjumper.
He is a giant jackass. Well, a little jackass, because he's small. Today we open on the Experimental Energy Research Laboratory.
It has a giant atom plastered on the front. It's also a very symmetrical building, so this is very symmetrical.
Cutting inside, it kind of looks like the Wizard's Chamber from The Wizard of Oz.
It's very Emerald, man. It's very green.
Why would you paint the inside of a lab this bright green color?
Well, why do they paint so many things orange and purple? The world may never know.
Okay, fine, but if I'm willing to maybe not forgive, but accept that the robots need to color code shit. Why did the humans color code this green?
I'm not talking about the robots.
Oh, you're right. The humans do it and then the Decepticons steal it, right?
Yes, but there are plants that the humans have that are just fucking bright orange, and yeah.
Yep.
Nothing makes sense color-wise. Either that, no, nothing makes sense. I don't know.
We see two scientists inside that are talking about solving the whole world's energy problems with brand new electrocells.
When suddenly, the roof caves in, courtesy of Skywarp.
He says he just loves opening presents. And the gift talk continues further as Starscream reaches inside the lab and pulls out the machine or the electrocells or whatever, saying it would be the perfect gift for Megatron.
Someone wants to get on Megatron's good side.
What'd you do, Screamer? What'd you do?
Megatron shows up out of fucking nowhere because he wants to take the device for himself, or something. Because Starscream is Mr. Butterfingers, apparently.
No. Megatron's just got the touch.
Yes, we're going to make music references to the movie. Yes, we are.
Got the touch.
I got the touch. I don't remember the fucking... I haven't listened to that in a while, or else I actually would try to sing it, but we don't need that. As he lifts it out, the two scientists from earlier jump onto it in an effort to talk some sense into these giant alien robots.
Which they fail and ultimately lose their grip and fall 30, 40 feet, and they're both perfectly fine.
They should have broken legs, definitely some concussions, possibly a broken back, because one of them kind of looked like he landed on some of the debris.
Yeah, he should probably be more hurt than he is.
Yeah.
One scientist mugs for the camera and lets us know that if those energy cells explode, it could start a chain reaction that could devastate the Earth.
A chain reaction with what?
Oxygen, Starscream's ego, water, Megatron's nuclear ass.
Despite all of the BS about Megatron having the touch, he promptly hands the energy cell off to Skywarp, of all people, telling him to be careful.
My only joke here is that I literally did not realize until last night that Frank Welker voiced 90% of the Decepticons, and so all I can think of is that's why Megatron trusts Skywarp so much. They're the same person!
There's also the purple thing that he has
There's also the purple thing.
He has to be... We've already talked about, Skywarp being his favorite Decepticon.
Obviously, he's the great color.
Megatron then transforms into gun mode and tells Starscream to destroy the lab.
Well, Starscream can't be in the doghouse too badly then, can he?
He doesn't even need someone to pull his trigger. Why does he willingly give up control every couple of episodes?
He's tapping from the butt?
Yeah, I'm just go and look at the ground for 5 minutes there and sigh heavily.
So just imagine that, if you will. Our idiot scientists do have some sense of self-preservation, as we do watch them flee the building before it explodes. And the cons head back to base, and then we cut over to the Ark and Cliffjumper.
Okay, so the things are inconsistent here. Sometimes there's a bunch of trees around the arc. Sometimes it looks really arid. They can't decide, or they can't seem to decide where they are. Sometimes it looks like the Pacific Northwest, and then sometimes it looks like Arizona. It's the magical teleporting volcano.
I feel like I could also make the joke of, like, welcome to Arizona, or Arizona.
Oregonzona?
Arizona.
Well, I mean, I don't know. They apparently made an attempt because the Pacific Northwest is, in fact, a very variable, has variable climates.
To a degree, but I'm still pretty sure if Mount St. Hilary's where we think it should be, there should be trees.
Yeah, because, I mean, where I grew up is slightly closer to some of what they show sometimes, but it's not actually arid. It's only semi-arid. I don't know. I don't know. It's just inconsistent. Let's get back to this.
And it's time for Cliffjumper to be a total dick to Mirage.
He accuses him of working for the cons because he found the electrocells in the same area Mirage had, like, patrolled yesterday. This doesn't mean anything, Cliffjumper. And, I mean, are they dating? Is this a fight? Are they having a spat? Is this why Cliffjumper is on his case? Is this just the convenient excuse?
Who knows? Prime breaks up Cliffjumper's idiotic rant by saying we don't want bad feelings, just the electrocells.
Oh, Optimus.
He's trying.
The group of Autobots leave base before we cut to the Decepticons.
And we're back to Starscream being mad at Megatron saying, if he was in charge, this would all be handled or whatever.
And by he, I think we're talking Starscream.
Yes. It's Starscream saying if he was in charge.
Yeah. Starscream's devil-may-care attitude towards science is clearly why Megatron doesn't let him science, as he proceeds to turn the device they're building on before it's ready.
He's basically mocking Megatron for being a coward during this, but Starscream, if this explodes, you are standing right there. You will also explode.
Starscream just doesn't give a shit, apparently.
I'm like, if you're trying to kill Megatron, there are more elegant solutions that don't involve blowing yourself up.
This cartoon is just...
I'm just gonna go with Starscream's an idiot, yeah.
Yeah, surprising no one, or perhaps just Starscream. There is, in fact, an explosion.
And Megatron looks like he's going to literally murder Starscream, but then suddenly we go back to the Autobots, much to my disappointment.
Cliffjumper is still bitching about Mirage. It's what he wants to do today, apparently.
I was so disappointed. I just really wanted Prime to be like, shut up, Cliffjumper, I am going to yeet you off this cliff. I know it wasn't gonna happen, but boy do I still want it.
Unfortunately, Optimus has to be kind to all of his children.
See, this is why I kind of agree with the Decepticons about half the time. At least Megatron can toss them off a cliff if they're being morons.
Child endangerment when your child is in fact your army.
Pretty much.
Well, let's get back to things. It looks like Laserbeak was put on perimeter duty. Good assignment there.
Laserbeak returns the sound wave and my boy raises the alarm because he is a good boy.
This apparently interrupts our murder session between Megatron and Starscream because Megatron orders a counterattack.
With a special reward. There is no way that is not dirty as hell.
Cliffjumper continues to be a dick, but makes his way over to an electrocell, where he says, "Come to Papa."
Starscream lands behind him and says, "Not so fast, Papa," and I can't. I just can't. Did he just forget to turn off his sweet talk after begging for his life from Megatron 2 minutes ago?
Mirage enters a scuffle with Skywarp before getting shot off by the Insecticons. And he apparently ripped off one of Skywarp's Decepticon badges during the scuffle.
We had a close-up of this, too, like in his hand. So they really, really wanted you to know this.
And, like, it acts like cloth because he had it crumpled in his hand.
Yeah, it's weird.
Optimus tells Megatron that the electrocells don't belong to him.
To which Megatron responds, "I possess them, therefore I own them."
Does that mean he owns the rest of the Decepticons?
I mean, would that be inaccurate? Really?
Not really. And then Optimus is taken down by one of the Insecticons.
Meanwhile, Cliffjumper gets into a firefight with Shrapnel, managing to trick him into shooting the electrocells.
Megatron is super pissed, pushes one of the two Starscreams that appear in this shot out of the way, and then starts shooting nitrogen out of his fusion cannon in an effort to stop the cells from exploding.
And we checked, it was the real Starscream he knocked over. The other one magically turns into Skywarp a few shots later. So good on him, he can apparently tell the difference.
The Autobots retreat, not wanting to risk another potential explosion. And at the Ark, Ratchet is fixing Mirage as Cliffjumper continues to fucking badmouth him to his face.
Optimus tells Cliffjumper he either needs proof or he needs to back off.
Ratchet tells Mirage to rest, but Mirage is apparently pissed and sneaks off to spy on the Insecticons, because he has a plan.
A plan. He steals some of their Energon, leaving Skywarp's badge behind as proof of the Decepticons stealing shit. And then Mirage leaves the cubes over near the Decepticons camp, being seen by Cliffjumper in the process, who wrongly assumes that Mirage is working with the Decepticons.
This is what happens when you don't tell anyone your plans, Mirage. It means that there's no one else that can, go and correct Cliffjumper's erroneous misunderstandings.
Yeah, or kind of what we said when we were watching is he should have at least told Jazz, who we're pretty sure is his boss.
Yeah. Starscream sneaks up behind Cliffjumper, but Cliffjumper is able to get away by transforming into car mode and ramming into Starscream's crotch, knocking him ridiculously high into the air.
Ah yes, Starscream. Seeker, scientist, Decepticon bowling pin.
All of the above.
Obviously.
Megatron shows up, asking what the fuck Starscream was firing at, giving him shit about missing his target.
As he should. Starscream then turns around and fires on the now visible for no fucking reason Mirage.
No one is sensible in these cartoons.
No, why? Mirage can turn invisible. There's no reason he turned invisible there.
The Insecticons then show up and assume the cons are firing on them before firing back.
So basically, Mirage's plan is actually working.
He just didn't get out in time.
Nope.
Mirage disappears again. Megatron continues to give shit to Starscream about missing, but Starscream's like, we both missed!
The Insecticons and Skywarp getting into it, but accidentally hit Mirage in the crossfire.
Bombshell proceeds to implant a Cerebro Shell into Mirage to mind control him.
Womp womp. About him being a traitor.
Cliffjumper returns to the Autobot base, blaming Mirage for working with the Decepticons.
Optimus warns Cliffjumper again about being a giant fucking asshole.
Then Optimus, Ratchet, and Cliffjumper take off for round 2 with the Decepticons in this episode.
The Decepticons seem to have their hands full as the Insecticons, now plus Mirage, are currently attacking them.
Megatron confronts Bombshell, coming to the conclusion that Mirage had tricked them.
And Bombshell calls Mirage a walking garbage can and goes to fire on him before being stopped by Megs. He's got nefarious schemes in mind for Mirage.
Optimus and company arrive, Mirage revealing himself and telling Optimus that he has a plan for getting the Electrocells.
Cliffjumper continues to whine.
Why did Optimus only bring the medic and Mr. Trigger happy?
I mean, say what you will, but honestly, this is probably the best use of Cliffjumper I can think of, which is basically just tossing him at cons.
That is true. But you could have brought Jazz or Krell too, I don't know.
Right? And it's not like Ratchet's useless in battle, but yeah, there's only 3 of you. It does seem kind of weird to choose to bring Cliffjumper and Ratchet.
Yeah. Mirage leads them into a trap, but Ratchet figures out almost immediately that he has a Cerebro Shell on him, because Mirage got hit by laser fire or something and got knocked down.
Yeah, and then Bombshell was gonna kill him because it's like, oh, you won't get up, you've outlived your usefulness. And all I can say is, well, here's the reason Optimus had to bring the medic.
Yeah. Causing Cliffjumper to finally fucking realize or relent on Mirage being a traitor. Because he isn't a traitor.
Unless you stick a Cerebro Shell in his head.
And mind control, and that does not mean someone's a traitor. It just means that they're being forced to do something.
Obviously. Optimus goes behind enemy lines, surprising Megatron by jumping down from the ceiling inside a building.
I guess the ceilings are really tall, but Optimus, what were you standing on?
There's so many questions. That's only 2.
Yeah. The Autobots surround Megatron, but rather than risk the Autobots getting the Electrocells, he elects to destroy them himself.
And the Autobots escape from the ensuing explosions.
And the last we see of Megatron in this episode, he's literally on the ground throwing A massive baby tantrum.
Like, he's not quite kicking and screaming, but he is screaming.
Yes. Later, Optimus apologizes to the scientists, but they're mostly just relieved that the Earth didn't blow up.
Well, that's good. So not reactive to Megatron's ass, then?
I guess. Or his sass.
Or his wine?
Yeah. And in the medbay, Cliffjumper finally apologizes to Mirage.
His apology consists of him flopping down on top of Mirage, who then kind of gets up cradling Cliffjumper, which then kind of turns into hugging, and then they kind of roll off the bed together.
And, like, they're rolling on the ground, like, hugging, and it's like, okay, they're definitely dating. They just have really weird snaps.
Obviously. And then the episode cuts as Ratchet laughs in Cliffjumper's voice, or in complete silence and Cliffjumper is laughing in the distance. Pick one.
Yeah.
And that's our episode. Join us next time for Lady Robots. Well, okay, one Lady Robot. It's more likely than you think.
Later, there will be more Lady Robots.
And so many of them will be pink.
Yeah, with no visible signs of what their alt modes are.
No, that's still not the thing that pisses me off the most. The thing that pisses me off the most is that I swear to God, Transformers is just this giant example of the writers being like, all right, we're writing a show for little boys. We can't have women in here. And then, a season or 2 or 3 in, they're like, oh shit, no homo, right, guys? And I'm just like, yes, homo, there's homo everywhere. You left all the women on the planet, too, so I'm pretty sure there's some homo going on over there, too. For millions of years, they seem to have been perfectly fine without the dudes. Either that or Ultra Magnus has a harem.
Actually, I'd say it's maybe more likely that Alita 1 has a harem.
I mean, exactly. Why have Optimus when she can have all the badass ladies that have been holding off Shockwave single-handedly?
The badass ladies, and then Ultra Magnus, Springer, and Hot Rod, I guess, and RC.
Oh, God.
I don't know.
No. This is why Hot Rod is so thirsty. When he gets to Earth, he wasn't getting any on Cybertron.
Either that, or he's just a kid who's basically hit his teenage years, and it's like, oh, I'm interested in people now.
Or everybody else was just like, we will not hit that. We will not hit the baby.
Either that or, like, Ultra Magnus and Hot Rod and RC and Springer were off
gallivanting around the universe.
I don't know, doing about the same thing that DevCon was doing, except with more... I don't know. More discipline, because Ultra Magnus.
Yeah. Anyway, I believe we have fanfic for today.
Okay, so we have 2 fanfiction recommendations for today. They are both pretty short. The first is Secret Agent Man, but written by Ink and Paper, Fab West. It's in the G1 cartoon continuity. It's rated K. It's Gen. Though there's a little bit of flirting. Pairings, none. Characters, Bumblebee and Mirage. Summary, secret agents have all the fun. And this one's very, very short. It's like 200 words, less than 400. And this character record theme is based on Mirage and fun stuff, because he did not have a good time this episode.
He did not have a good time this episode.
Yeah. And it's a one-shot, and the second one is Tundra Turmoil by Raving Limey.
That is a wonderful username.
Yep. It's a G1 cartoon with kind of a lot of IDW influences, because it's got Conjuncts Endura in it, and a number of other things. It's rated K, there's Slash. The main pairing isn't actually a pairing, it's more of a triad, because it's Cliffjumper, Hound, and Mirage, and there are other ambiguous or implied other pairings. And characters, Cliffjumper, Hound, Mirage, and various other Autobots, and humans. And in summary, Hound finds out that lemmings don't voluntarily commit mass suicide.
It's a really strange summary, but okay.
Well, so the character and theme rec is based on is Cliffjumper and terrible puns, and it's also a one-shot, And so, do you know how lemmings were considered to commit mass suicide?
Yes, I do.
Jumping off of cliffs by being cliff jumpers.
Oh god, that is a terrible pun!
Yes.
I see! I understand! I don't want to, but I do!
Lots of people get headbutted because Cliffjumper is pissed. It's cute. Read it if you want to. You don't have to.
Okay.
And that's it for fanfiction recommendations. Let's go to art recommendations.
Alright, so our recommendation for fan artist for today is Lem. They are a mixed media artist who does a variety of art. They also do a ton of clothing. Today we've linked to their work for the TF Crystalline Zine, which is Jetfire. It's super gorgeous. He's encased in ice. A blingy, freedom-loving optimist that is magnificent, and their Beast Horse fabric pattern. We will be linking to their Tumblr on YouTube and AO3, but you can pop over to our Tumblr and there will be more links available.
Yep. And that just about wraps it up for us today. Remember to check us out on Tumblr or Pillowfort as Afterspark Podcast for any additional information, show notes, or links we may have mentioned. You can also find us on Facebook and Twitter at Afterspark Pod, all one word, and at various other locations by searching for Afterspark Podcasts such as AO3, iTunes, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, and YouTube, just to name a few. Till next time, I'm Specs.
And I'm Els.
Toodles!